Hello preppers, welcome to the video. So, without wasting much time, because I understand the TCS exam is very close. So, in this video, mainly we'll focus upon the most important questions that are very much required for you for TCS NQT preparation in the programming logic section. A few questions that I'm going to cover in this video can also be repeated in the exam as well. So, make sure that you watch the whole video completely. Do not miss even one question that I'm going to take. And I hope that the video would be really helpful for you. So let us begin. Thank you.
Okay, guys, so let's begin with the video. So majorly when we look at TCS NQT programming logic section, so we can categorize it in the following four sections. That is basics of C. You can expect around 4 to 6 questions in it. OOPS concept, you can expect around 1 to 2 questions from it, and data structures, you can expect around 3 to 4 questions from it. Advanced data structure is something that maybe there would be no questions at all, or maybe max to max there could be only one question. So advanced data structures, I would suggest that non-computer science and IT students should not even bother about this section at all, because mostly you'll be wasting a good amount of your time, right? So let's look at the first question that we have. Okay, so this question is an FUB type of question, wherein you have to enter values, right? So for example, the for this particular question, if the answer is yes, then you enter yes in a box. There will be a box. There will not be any options given there. These type of question contain extra marks, and then there is no negative marking for FUB type of question. So they have 2x marks. And if your answer is yes, just enter YES without any blank spaces. Don't enter a blank space bar or anything here, right? So let us look at this particular question. So what they are saying is, what will be the output for the following, right? And then they've given the code. So there's this general include studio, and then there is end main. So here there is the program starting. I'll be taking this question very fastly, so I will not do a theoretical session as we do in our online classes, because you have very less time for TCS NQT preparation. So I'll want to focus upon the most important concepts and how would you solve these questions in the actual exam. So initially they've given float f is equals to 0.1, and then there's if condition. So you're checking that this f that you've declared here, right? So let me change the color of the pen. If that is equal to 0.1, then print yes, and else if it is not that, then print no. So a lot of you would say that yes, this f that we've declared here, the value is 0.1 only, and then we are comparing it with 0.1 again. So obviously yes will be printed. However, this is not the case. The answer would be no. Now the reason why this is there, so when you look at this statement, the float value is there. So what would happen is the actual value of f would be 0.1000000. So till 6 correct decimal point, the actual value would be this, right? And you are comparing this 0.1000005 times. So totally there will be 6 decimal precision equals to 0.1, which is not true at all, because this is 0.1, and this is a float value. If you, however, so which is why this will not be printed, this else statement will be printed. However, in the if statement, if you do this, if you do typecasting, that is float bracket and then you write 0.1, or maybe you write 0.1 f, that is f is equals to 0.1 f, that is, this is called typecasting. So we are saying this decimal or is basically a float character. In that case, yes would be printed. So but in our answer, or in our case, no value would be entered in a box, right? So going ahead to the next question. Let's have a look at the next question, that is question 2. So what they're saying is, what is the output for the following code? You have 4 options here, one of which is correct option. So this is MCQ type of question. So what they are doing is, there's normal include studio, then there's main, and then they are initializing one variable called a as 10, and then one more declaration of x is being there. So next, the magic is happening on this statement, right? So majorly there is increment and decrement operator here. So let me tell you a very basic and a quick difference between two. I just don't want to waste a lot of time there, so which is why very quickly we'll try to look into it. So there's a difference between a++ and plus plus a. Let's say x is equals to a plus plus. This is the statement, right? So in this case, if the value of a is 10, so the value of x is going to be 10, but after this value has been assigned, the value of a then is going to get incremented by 1 and the new value of a is going to be 11, right? Because first you are assigning it and then after assigning you are doing the increment. However, if it was x is equals to plus plus a, in that case first you are incrementing the value of a. That is, if the value was 10, then you are doing x is equal, so first you are incrementing it and the new value becomes 11 and then assignment happens. So x value also becomes 11 and then a value also becomes 11. In the previous case the x value was 10 and the a value was 11 after the whole statement. So let us look on this. So x is equals to a minus minus. So because this is post is first you assign and then you increment or decrement. So first x is equals to 10 happens and then a value gets decremented to 9. So new a value is 9 right now till at least here. Okay. Then what happens is plus plus a is happening. So this is pre-operator. So first we are incrementing the value of a. So a value becomes 10 again and then we are assigning it to this particular area. So the value here again after, so 9 plus 1 is 10. So again here 10 we are putting. So x is equals to 20. So finally we are putting the value of x in percentage d and then the answer that we would have is 10. Oh sorry, 20 would be the answer in this case, right? Okay, so let's look at the question. So first we took very basic questions. Those were very easy questions. Now I would be increasing the level of difficulty a little, and this is very important question for TCS NQT question number 3 that we are taking. I think 90% probability is either this question or the application of this question is going to be asked in the exam. Alright, so let's begin with this. So first they are saying that the pre-order traversal of the tree is this. What would be the post-order traversal? Okay, so I hope that all of you know what pre-order post-order is. If you don't know that, after you watch this video, please make sure that you know pre-order, post-order and in-order. But then again, I will try to solve this question so that you will be able to understand at least what pre-order and post-order is. Alright, so a basic classic example of pre-order is that the first node, this will always be the root node. So 17 would be the root node. So from this first we will try to print the whole tree itself. Okay, and then what would happen is all the elements that are lower than 17, that is 13, 9, 11 and 15 will come on the left hand side. Okay, so initially 13, 9, 11 and 15 will come on the left hand side of the tree. So we don't know what is the order, so let us assume in the next step we'll do the order. So let us assume this is the tree right now, and all the elements that are greater than 17 will come on the right hand side. So 19, then 23 and then 21. So this is the tree that we have right now. Okay, so after that we will do the same process. So initially we thought of this as tree. Now we will do the same process for this particular area. Okay, so let me just change the color of the pen. So now let us do the same thing. So in this case 13 is coming first. Okay, so 13 again will be the next node here. So 13, and then all the elements which are lower than 13 will come on the left hand side. So 9 and 11 are lower than 13. So on the next one 9 comma 11, and then we will see later how that is happening, and then later 15 is larger, so it will come on the right hand side. Okay, so then again let's do the same process. So 19 is the first element here, right? So 19 will be the root node of this, at least this subtree. Okay, so all the elements that are lower than 19 will come on the left hand side. There are no elements that are lower than 19, both of them are bigger than 19, so nothing will come here. So this will be a blank. Then all the elements greater than 19 will come on the right hand side. So 23 comma 21. Okay, so this is going to be the initial tree. So let me just clear the screen. I'll just write everything in a clearer format again. So the tree as of now looks like this: 17, and then you have 13, and then you have 19 here, and then you have let me just check. You have 9, comma 11, and then you have 15 here till the previous thing whatever we did, and then there is nothing on the left hand side, and then here you have two numbers, that is 23 and 21. Okay, so let us do the same process for these. So what will happen is 9 is the first element, so obviously 9 will come on the left hand, 9 will be the root node, and 11 is greater, so there is no element smaller, so 11 is greater, so it will come on the right hand side. So this is 3. This is the new tree, so left hand side is completely sorted, right? This end is completely sorted. So then again 23 would be the first node, right? So then what will happen is all the elements that are smaller than 23, 21 is smaller than 23, will come on the left hand side. So this tree will now look like this: 17, 13, 9, 11, 15, and 19, 23, 21. Okay, so now what they are asking us is basically to what would be the post order traversal in this. Now what we do for post order traversal is, so let me just print it finally in a clearer format. So we have 17, 13, then we have 19, then we have 9, then we have 15, and then we have 11, and then we have 23, and then we have 21. So post order traversal, what we do, we first go to the lowest node on the left hand side. So the lowest node on the left hand side is 11. Okay, so first we print this 11. Okay, so now what is happening? Option A and option B obviously do not have 11 at the very start. Okay, so which is why we will rule them out. So at least we either know C and D, one of C or D is the correct option. Okay, now what would happen is after 11 we see 9 if we move upwards, right? So generally what would happen is if A, B, C, these are the three nodes that we have. So first we will, and there are no child nodes. So first we will print this, and then we will print this particular node, and then finally we will print all the root nodes. Okay. So what would happen? First 11 is getting printed. So 11 is there. Then 9 is getting printed. So if I just try to write it down, 11, comma 9, and then after 9, because we have C here, right? So 15 will get printed. 11, 9, 15. Okay, so this is also printed, this is also printed. Then we have 13 here. So 11, 9, 15, comma 13. Now we know that obviously option number D is the correct answer, because here it is 19, comma 19. Here it is the option. So let me just still print it for you. So 13 is getting printed. Now we move to the parallel node, that is 19. But we see that there are still child elements here. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll follow the same process to the lowest node here. So 13, comma 21 will get printed. If we move upwards, then 23 is getting printed. If we move upwards again, then 19 will get printed, and then again finally 17 is getting printed. So 11, 9, 15, 13, 21, 23, 19, 17, option number D would happen to be the correct answer. So for a lot of you for whom this question is confusing, I'll recommend you to learn post order, pre order, and in order first. For all the online class students of Repinsta, they would obviously know that what post order, pre order, and in order is. So what they are trying to say here is, so consider the following array. This is the array that they've given here. Okay, these are inserted into a max heap one by one. The resultant max heap would be, so first you need to understand what is max heap. Okay, so there's so let me just put it randomly here. So max heap is basically, if I put 50 here, the first rule is first you fill the left child. Okay, and then you fill the right child. Okay, so left child will come first, and then right child will come. Then once the whole thing is filled here, obviously you can't put in a max heap, there can be only two child, right? then in that case you start again with the left child and then finally give left child here, and then I will put right child here, and then do the same process left and then right. Now this is also filled, and then I follow the same process iteratively, so on and so forth. The second rule that says is the child elements, that is if 50 is there, okay, so next element should be smaller than 50. So if we enter 40, this is perfect. If I enter 45 here, that is also perfect. But had it been 30 and let's say 35 here, and in the next case let's say 20 here, so at least this particular part would be sorted because the parent element is greater than the child element. But for this particular part, this is not true because the child element is greater than parent element. So what would happen? A swap would happen. That is, this and this will get swapped with one another. Okay. So let us implement the same thing for us, and then we will find out which of the options is correct. Okay. So we have initially we have 55. So 55 will be the root node. Then we have 40. So 40 will be entered here. Then we have 45, right? So 45 will be entered here. Till now there is no problem because the child element, that is 40, is smaller than 55, and then again 45 is smaller than 55 also, so no problem. Okay, so this is filled. Now let's go to the next element, that is 48. Okay, so when we enter 48 here, now the child element here, this is greater than the parent element. So what would happen? A swap would happen here. So this will get interchanged to here. So it will become, this will become 48, and then this will become 40. Right? So no problem. Now let us go to the next step. That is, we have 10. So we'll just simply enter, because this is 48 currently. So we'll just enter 10 here. Okay. So no problem. Then we have 46 here. So now if we enter 46 here, what happens is the child element is greater than the parent element. So again, what happens is a swap is happening again. So this becomes as 46 and this becomes as 45 if I am not wrong. Okay, then finally we have the last element as 15 here, which will have obviously no problem because 15 is smaller than 46 here. So now let us look. So which of the following options suits or just matches our one? So in that case the answer is option number A, because 55, 55, 48, 48, 46, then 46, 40, 40, 10, 45, 15. 10, 45, 15. So obviously this is matching the whole thing. So this is how max heap is done. Okay, so this is very important question for TCS NQT exam. Let us take the next one. Now this is very, very, very important. Such kind of questions is these are very logical questions, and then there is only minor, very, very small thing that you have to pick up in the question to be able to solve this particular question. So we have to read such questions very in a very detailed manner. So let us do that together. Okay. So what we have here is Isha wants to implement an image viewer. So image viewer is the first keyword. Application to view images in a given folder. The application will be able to display an image and will also know what its next and previous images are at any given point in time. Okay, so this next and previous images gives me a little context. I know the answer already, but I want you to find out. Okay, so that the user can view the next and previous image by pressing left and right. Which of the following data structures is appropriate for Isha to use? Okay, so in this case, first of all, when I see next and previous, I remember that a linked list is the one that knows its next and previous. So in general linked list, we have But in doubly linked list, if we say the doubly linked list, the data value is here, and then it contains the pointer location to the next node, and it contains the pointer location to the previous node. So a circular linked list, or sorry, not a circular, a doubly linked list is what they are talking about, that it knows its next and previous images, right? In other cases, if we look at tree, let's say this is the tree, right? So when we look at here, what it basically knows, it only knows its next one. It does not know its previous because it does not contain that value, right? So only next two element it knows. When we look at queues and stacks, right, there's no information about next and previous. These are basically that, okay, I know my I value, that I am the 4, I am at fifth position, I am at sixth position. So they don't know about, okay, what is there at fifth position, maybe fifth position is blank or whatever, right? So a linked list, and especially a doubly linked list, is what knows next and previous. So doubly linked list would be the answer. So concept based questions they are asking. So let us look at one more question like this. Okay, so Isha is developing a word processing software where she wants to provide an undo feature. Okay, so this is important. She wants to provide an undo feature. The software will maintain all the sequential changes. So first of all, they're saying sequential. So till now there are two keywords that are important. The first one is undo, and then the second one is sequential. Okay, at any point of pressing Ctrl Z will undo the latest change. What is the data structures that Isha should use for it? Okay, so when we say sequential, okay, what comes to my mind? An array is a sequential type of data structure. Okay, and because if we have this, so zeroth position, a0, a1, a2, a3, a4. A linked list is not sequential, because then again pointers are there. If you change the pointer, it can be anywhere, because pointers are not sequential at all. Okay, but then again, a queue is on also application of an array. A stack is also an application of an array, right? But you want to so when we look at stacks and queues and arrays, obviously array will not be an answer, because queues and stacks are better application of an array. So obviously array is not an answer. We have to compare in stacks and queues. Okay. So one more thing that is important, what she is saying is pressing Ctrl Z, sequential changes are there. So in queue, the entry point and exit point, so you can exit from here and you can exit from or entry from here. So there are multiple entry points. Okay. But at a specific point in time where you want to keep changes, you want to have undo feature. So which is why there should only be one exit. There should only be one exit point. In that case, stacks will be the answer, because in stacks, there is only one exit point, that is still here. So in this case, obviously stacks will be the answer, because again, a little more safety, a little more user is able to see what is happening, because only one place he is to look at, that is this particular place, that what is entering and what is exiting. In queues, you have to look at, okay, maybe rear or front or so on and so forth, right? So which is why if you have an option between these two, stacks is the safer one, because only of one exit point. So again, a little logical, and a lot of very smart people will only understand this. Okay, so let's look at the next question. Okay, so again, same application but type of questions. I've taken three questions because a lot of people ignore these questions. A lot of people ignore these questions, but these are very important in the exam. Okay, so again, Isha is doing all kind of things. Isha is developing an IP telephony software in which audio is encoded and transmitted by sender as network packets through communication channel. Okay, so nothing important. Okay, some packets are being transmitted. At the other end, these packets are assembled and processed further. Okay, Isha recognizes that there may be a large number of packets and this number is unknown. Okay, so one more important thing that I got here, this is unknown packets. Okay, so we don't know, maybe thousands and billions of packets may also come. Okay, and which will be processed while more packets are being received. Assume that the packets arrive in the right order. Okay, right order is one more thing that is important. Which data structure should she be using? Okay, so let me give you an example here. Stacks, queues, all of these are basically arrays only, nothing more. Stacks and queues are application of arrays, as I told earlier. Okay, when she is saying unknown, right, there's a limit of how you can define. Maybe you define a of 10, okay, and maybe you define a of 2000000, but you will always have to define it. There will always, or the compiler will say, okay, I have a limit, I can only keep arrays of this limit only, or right, not more than that. But in case of linked list, this is not the case, because linked list can be as large as you want them to be. So initially, because linked list, the end element will say, okay, pointer to next is if this particular storage location is completely filled. Now the last elements will say, okay, the location is filled. Let us point to new storage location, and the pointer of that new storage location is 4002. Okay, if let's say all the 3002 39999 location are filled, so they'll just say, okay, let's point to 4002, or let's say 14002. But in case of array, since it has to be sequential, it cannot do that. It has to be sequential, right? So which is why in this case only one word was important, that was unknown. The packet size is unknown, which is why linked list, because pointers are a good way when you don't know the size. You just have to point to a random free space in the memory, right? So okay, so linked list is the answer. So let us go to the next question here. A program reads 500 integers in the range of 1 to 100. Okay, so 500 integers it is reading, and the limit is 0 to 100, I'm sorry, right? And these are basically the scores of 500 students, and then it prints the frequency of each score above 50. So whatever, let's say two students have scored 99, so it is printing 2. Okay, two people have scored 99. What would be the best way for the program to store these frequencies? An array of 100 numbers, 50 numbers, an array of 500 numbers, dynamically allocated array. So let us look at this problem statement first again. So 500 integers are there, the values of which are ranging from 0 to 100. Okay, now what they are saying is it prints the frequency of each score above 50. So only we are seeing above 50. So that is 51 to 100 we are seeing. So this is only what we are looking at. And then it is printing the frequency. So let's say 51, 3 people got. 52, 0 people got. 53, 4 people got. For example, so on and so forth. 100, 2 people got. So you have to print this, right? And how many values are these? These are 50 values, starting from 51 to 100. So you need an array starting that is of 50 size, that is A50, wherein A0 will have, let's say, 3, because 3 people have got 51. A1 will have, let's say, 0, because 0 people have got 52, and then finally A50 or will have, let's say 2 value, because 2 people have gotten it, or maybe in fact not 50, or let's say 50 to 100. In fact, this is the answer, right? So an array of 50. So in that case, option number B, that is what we have, would be the correct answer here. So let's start with this question here. So what they are basically saying is, what is the output for the following code snippet, right? And then you have 4 options. So I will suggest you pause the video and try this question yourself, and then if you don't understand it, just see my explanation here, right? Okay, so what they're saying is, initially there's normal include studio and main, then they are declaring 2 different variables n and h, and then there is a for loop, right? Now this for loop starts with 7, and then they have a condition that continue till this for loop till n is not equal to 0. Okay, so this for loop will stop if n value becomes 0 at the very at the time of checking, and then n minus minus happens. There's one more interesting thing here. When you're printing the value of n, after printing there's a post decrement operator also. So just watch out. So we'll just solve this question. Okay, so initially the n value is 7, right? So we go to printf n is equals to 7, we print 7. So what is getting printed? 7 is getting printed, and after 7 is printed, this post decrement operator happens. So new n value becomes 6, right? And then finally this loop is completed, so this n minus minus also happens, so it goes to 5. Now this for loop starts again. Now what we do here is we check that n value is not equal to 0, obviously is not equal to 0, so this for loop keeps on running. N is equals to percentage d. So what they print is, finally here 5 is getting printed, and after getting printed in the next loop, n value becomes 4, and then since this for loop is basically, this iteration of for loop is terminated, so it then becomes 3, right? And then we check again if n is not equal to 0, so on and so forth, which it's not, so this for loop continues. Then finally we again print it, so 3 is getting printed. Okay, then after 3 is getting printed, n value becomes 2 because of this particular statement, and then finally because this iteration is completed, right? So n minus minus is happening again, so 1 is getting printed. Then finally we check that n is not equal to 0, which is not equal to 0, so this for loop runs again. Then we print 1, then n minus minus happens, right? So this n minus minus is happening is n minus minus, so it becomes 0. Then finally because this has terminated, so n minus minus happens, it becomes minus 1. So now finally we check n is not equal to 0. Yes, because n is minus 1 currently, right? So what is happening? It has gone to all the positive values. Now in the next one, what will happen is minus 1 will get printed, then minus, then the new value would be minus 2, then when minus 3. So it will go on till minus minus, so on so forth, it will go on. So it will go into an infinite loop, right? Because this n equal to 0 condition will never satisfy, because from 1 it just directly went to minus 1. So 5, 3, 1, minus 1, minus 3. At the time of checking this particular condition, it's running in these 5, 3, 1, minus 1, minus 3. So it is running in decrement operator of odd numbers. So which is why the answer would be option number A. So let's start with question number 10. So we have binary search tree here with an unknown number of unique integer elements. While searching for 137 in the binary search tree, the following sequence is encountered. How many different values are possible for x? So for a lot of you would not understand what to do in this question. So what I would suggest is, first let us build the binary search tree with this particular information that we have here. Okay. And then we will get a sense on what is happening. So a binary search tree, obviously this is 68 is going to be the root node, right? So 68 is coming first, then 417. Obviously 417 is larger than 68, so 417 will come here. Okay, then we have 236. Now 236 is greater than 68, right? But is smaller than 417, so it will come here. So 236 is coming here. Then we have 93. Now 93 again is greater than 68 but is lesser than 417, so left hand side it is coming. So and then it is lesser than 236 also. So 93 is coming here. So let me just explain you in a different way also. So what we are doing, if we are, let's say, counting for 93, so first we check here. 93 is greater than 68, so moves on towards the right. 93 is lesser than 417, so moves on towards the left. Now 93 is less than 236, so then again moves on towards left. So which is why 93 finally came here. Okay, and then we have x, and then we have 217. Now we don't know about the value of x here. So x could be, let's say, here also, or maybe here also. Right. So let me just print it again, just for a better representation. 68 is here, then 417 is here, then 236 is here, and then finally 93 is here. Okay, and then we have x. Okay, so let us assume x is on this side. Okay, then finally we have 217. Okay, so what happens is, obviously, x, because 217 is greater than 93, so obviously it will come on the right hand side. So 217 will come here. So which is why from our hypothesis, if we are traveling like this, we can't jump and go to the right hand side. So in this case, x will definitely be here, which will finally link to 217. So x will come on the right hand side. At least this is one thing that we are sure of. Okay, so from this we at least understand this is that x is greater than 93 because it's coming on the right hand side, but it is smaller than 217, right? Because 217 is coming on the right hand side, so x is smaller than 217. So that is what we've gotten till now. Okay, then we look at 137 is also, one more number here. Okay, so here what would happen is we try to enter 137. So 137 is smaller than 217, which is why it is coming on the left hand side, right? If x would have had been greater than 217, so x would have come here, right? But it is coming here, so we know at least one more thing, that is x is also lesser than 137. So all the values that we have here, x can take any possible value between 94, because 93 value is already taken and they've said unique integer elements, and anything between 136. So 93, 94 and 136, just subtract 136 minus 94 if we do. So we get 2 here, and then so the answer is 42. So it can take 42 possible values totally. So you will enter, so again this is a box type of questions, right? You will enter 42 in the box and in digits, not like FOURTRY and then TWO, right? So you will enter 42 as numeric digits. So I hope that this video was really helpful for all of you, right? We have a lot many other videos. In fact, 10 to 12 different free videos on our YouTube, on our website Prep and Stuff. And each video is very amazing. A lot of questions can be asked from in TCS exam from all of those videos. And in fact, we are the #1 website. Last year, 91% of the people who got placed in TCS had prepared from Prep and Stuff, right? So we are hoping to increase that number to 93, 94, and we'll try for 100. So make sure that all of you, watch that video. The link to which is provided in the description below. Also, make sure that you join our WhatsApp group for TCS NQT preparation. We also share whenever any off-campus drive is happening, like Microsoft has its off-campus drive next month, and a lot of people do not get to know about that. So we also share those off-campus drive link in the group. Plus, the people who have exam on 4th or 3rd evening will get questions of the exam that have appeared in TCS NQT third, let's say the questions that have been asked in the 3rd of August exam will be shared to you in the WhatsApp group. So the people who are having their exam on 4th, or maybe the evening slot of exam on 3rd, can get the previous batch questions and prepare really well. So all of those questions also will be shared on the WhatsApp group itself. So make sure you also join that. And if you have any questions, had difficulty understanding any particular question, please feel free to ask that in the comment section. And do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. So thank you all, everyone. Thank you for joining. I hope the video helped you a lot.